If you want to experience flying the way it's done in the real world, then it's imperative that you learn how to read charts. Perhaps you simply want the most realistic flight experience possible, or you're interested in flying online with other pilots and real-time air traffic control on a VATSIM network. Reading charts is an imperative tool that will help you succeed. It's my belief that a lot of pilots are discouraged by going online because reading charts is a process that hasn't been explained all that well. As you will soon see, it's not only a lot simpler than you think, the entire idea of reading a chart is intentionally made simple so that you can spend more time flying and spend less time trying to interpret what the chart is trying to tell you. So why do we have charts? Well, charts are nothing more than road maps for all the highways in the sky. You wouldn't go on a car trip without a map. Well, the same thing goes for flying. Even in today's modern aviation world of computers, reading charts is an essential skill that every pilot needs to know. So why do we have them? Well, for starters, they give us direction. They get us from point A to point B. Second, it's safety. Every single plane stays on the exact route that it filed. And finally, reduced workload for both you and air traffic control. Can you imagine air traffic control trying to vector you from point A to point B to point C to point D? It would be just a royal mess. This way, air traffic control knows exactly what route you're going to take based on the flight plan that you filed. The first two charts that we're going to look at are SIDs and STARs. A SID, which stands for Standard Instrument Departure, provides a roadmap for departing aircraft from any major airport. Think of them as a on-ramp to a major highway, which will be the route which you'll be flying. A STAR, which stands for Standard Instrument Arrival, is just the opposite of a SID. It's a map that will get you to your destination to any major airport. It's the exit ramp, if you will, from a major highway. Or maybe there's another way to look at it. If you take a funnel and turn it sideways, that's a STAR. Every single aircraft coming into a major airport is funneled through, and then they all come out on the opposite end in one nice, neat, single file. Now keep in mind that not all airports are served by SIDs and STARs. The reason is that some airports are just not very busy. Why install a massive intersection when a small four-way stop will serve the purpose? While filing a proper flight plan is not in the scope of this tutorial, it's the beginning stage of identifying what chart to use and where to get it. The internet is loaded with websites that will prepare a flight plan for you, but one of my favorites is flightaware.com. Simply navigate to the site and select Resources from the left-hand side. Navigate to Recently Used IFR Routes, and you're ready to enter your departure and destination airport. Miami International Airport is a very busy airport. Serving well over 1,000 flights a day, ATC is very busy. For this example, we positioned ourselves on runway 9 and are ready for takeoff. Before we begin, however, let's determine what chart to use based on the flight plan that we created. FlightAware.com provides us with a flight plan after we enter our departure and destination airport. What I really like about the site is that it's not only lists the most popular flights, but it lists real flights the way they are flown in the real world. A closer look at the plan reveals that we're going to be flying at flight level 360. The first part of our flight plan also indicates the name of the SID that we're going to use, in this case, Headley 1. What we need next is a chart, and the best place to get charts is aeroplanner.com. We navigate to the site and enter KMIA as our departure airport. You will notice that KMIA has many SIDs, but the one we're interested in is Headley 1. We click on it, and a chart comes up. Miami International has 4 runways, and sure enough, the chart indicates that this is the case. Since we're departing from runway 9, we need to find out what to do. By moving to the second page of the chart, we can see the description clearly tells us what needs to be done. The first thing we need to determine is where on the chart we are located. The runways are not labeled, but since we're located on runway 9, we can guess that our heading is going to be 90. In this case, the chart clearly shows us that we need to take off on a heading of 92 degrees. Reading the description of what needs to be done reinforces the idea by explaining to us in clear language that indeed we take off on a heading of 92 degrees to 520. 520 in this case indicates our altitude. In other words, we need to take off, and once we reach 520 feet, we make a left turn to Sonoy, our first waypoint. As you can see, there are many waypoints on the chart, and they all follow the same pictorial description. We have Sonoy and fly direct to Simba. I know this because the arrows on the chart clearly indicate the logical flow of the chart. Our next waypoint on the list is 7 nautical miles away and a heading of 354 degrees. Pay close attention to these distances because if you're programming the waypoints into your FMC, you need to make sure that the distances match. The distance from Sonoy to Simba is 7 nautical miles, and your FMC should indicate this. A small variance is okay, but a large variance indicates an error that needs to be handled. From Simba, we fly to Fork on a heading of 336 degrees and a distance of 5 nautical miles. From Fork, it's another 18 miles to VVMX. You will notice that aircraft that took off from runways 26, 27, and 30 will also be joining you at this intersection. Remember the funnel example? The chart also contains special information located in notes along the way. It tells us that we should be at a speed of 250 knots, and it also lists equipment requirements that your aircraft must meet in order to fly this chart. Headley is our next waypoint, and you'll notice that this corresponds to a waypoint on our flight plan. Also notice that the name of the SID corresponds to the first waypoint on your flight plan. This is often the case and enables you to find the name of the chart you need quickly. Once you're on your way, it's a good idea to start thinking about your star approach. Now, typically you would program in your star before you even take off. However, because you're still learning and training, it's a good idea to maybe hold off and give yourself the extra time you need to start programming your star approach once you're actually in flight. Think about it. Your flight is going to be anywhere between 1 to 3 hours, so that's a perfect opportunity once you reach flight level to let the autopilot do all the work, and you can start pulling out the charts and programming the star approach. This is typically what I do, and it's what we're going to look at next.